Hi friendlies, I'm Carolyn and welcome back to my RV life. It's going to be a Q&A video today because I've been on the road quite a bit doing a lot of traveling and I'm still really tired from all the traveling Sadie and I have been doing. She's outside. I started doing this outside and she was in my lap. Here, I'll put the B-roll so you can see. But then I decided I was having technology issues with my cell phone, so I decided to come inside where I have my computer. So like I said, I've been on the road a lot and haven't been able to put the time into another travel video, so I'm going to try to do like a one-take video. I reached out to patrons and asked if they had any burning questions or topics they would like me to cover, and so I'm going to cover those topics in today's video. And I got some really good questions. Jane asks, what 3 places, if you were coming to the US, what 3 places would I recommend you have to visit? And wait till you hear, you might be surprised to hear some of those. Thomas asked, if I had to leave my rig in a hurry, what would I take with me? Really good question. What would be in my bug out bag? And then April asked me a question that has a lot to do with a lot of the what's been going on in the news lately, and how to be a good neighbor and to be welcoming and inclusive to everybody. So stay tuned. I'm going to answer all those questions for you and probably a little bit more.
There ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Got to find your own.
Okay, welcome back. Let's get started. One of the perks of being a patron is that you get extra content and you get polls and contests, and you get to, one of the things, if you are at the friendly neighbor level, you get to suggest topics for videos and a chance to win prizes. Patreon is just a way, number 1, to get more content, and number 2, for me to reward the people who are able to invest in my channel. And so without further ado, the first question comes from Jane Ely, who lives in Australia, and she wanted to know, Aussie Jane asks, if I came to the US, rented a van, but had limited time, which are your favorite must-see regions or places to recommend? Remember, I love the wilderness and things unique to a country. So what would your top 3 be? That was a hard question, actually. I have a lot of places that I love that I think are super special, but I chose the top 3 that I think would give you a good feel for... Sorry, some of you are going to be really upset with me because a lot of it's West Coast. That's just where my heart is, and that's where some of my favorite places are. My favorite top 3 places that I think are some of the most gorgeous, iconic places in the United States, and just special in their own right. At least they were special to me. Number 1, actually, can you guess? What do you think the top 3 places are going to be that I'm going to recommend? In no order, actually. Number 1, the first thing that actually came to mind was the Grand Canyon. I love the Grand Canyon. It's beautiful, it's awe-inspiring, and there's good boondocking near the North Rim. I think also the South Rim. And just, you know, going to the Grand Canyon, you're going to go through Flagstaff. You're going to see a little bit of Route 66 probably if you're in a camper van. And that's all really cool. I really like the Flagstaff area and the Route 66 going up there in Kingman, Arizona. There's just some really cool old Americana to visit and to see along the way to the Grand Canyon. And the Grand Canyon is just spectacular. I remember the first time I stood on the rim of the Grand Canyon and it just almost didn't look real. So Grand Canyon is definitely on the list of must-see places. The second one is Alaska. I know Alaska is a big trip, but if you are flying in, you might want to spend your whole time in Alaska. If you only have 3 weeks, of course you can't do Alaska and Grand Canyon, so maybe this wasn't a good pick. But if you have 3 weeks and you are, you know, planning on doing multiple trips to the US, I would spend 3 weeks in Alaska. Alaska is amazing. And maybe even if you, I have to say, even if you fly here and you fly up to Alaska, but I would spend at least 3 weeks in Alaska. I spent 3.5 months in Alaska. In case you missed that series, I'll put a link up here. There should be a little circle. When I say that, a lot of people say, and I even see it on my cell phone, there should be a little circle up here, unless I forget to do it, with a description, but and you should be able to click on that and see the video that I recommend. I think I'm also going to start putting the videos that I recommend in the description, so also check the description of this video and I will put the playlist link to Alaska in the description as well. But yeah, you have to see Alaska. And finally, one of my favorite places on the planet I think it's my favorite place on the planet is Yosemite. And that's in Central California, and it is just beautiful and amazing, iconic views. If you don't want to go during the busy season, you don't want to go to summer, and if you're a hiker or a backpacker, get out of the van, go in the backcountry, and really experience the wilderness, the backcountry of Yosemite. But honestly, a lot of the best views you can get driving through the valley, a Half Dome and all of that, but you have to fight the crowds. I can't stand Yosemite during the height of the season. It's really, really hard. It's really bad. So Jane, I hope that gives you some food for thought for planning your trip. And the next question is, by the way, all of you win the new Be Happy, Be Free, Be Kind stickers. I did a new design that's really colorful and happy. I think we all need colorful and happy right now. So I will put yeah, so you'll see it here, and I'll put a link to the stickers in the description as well. So Thomas wanted to know, what if you were 10 miles off the main road and you'd have to leave your RV in the middle of the night, like a fire or something? What does a Nomad need in a bug-out bag? Great question. What to take in a bug-out bag? So first, I don't know. I think I've talked about this before. I do have a fireproof safe in my rig where I keep all my important stuff, my passport, and just, you know, all my important papers. I guess I would empty that. I wouldn't want to carry that 10 miles out, but I have backpacking gear, and I always say if it, you know, stuff hits the fan, even if I were 30 miles out and I got stuck, I have a backpack, I have all my backpacking gear, I have everything I need. But for a bug out bag, I would empty out my safe and put everything in a backpack. I would also make sure, of course, I have my ID, probably my passport and my driver's license, all my credit cards, my wallet, you know, my credit cards are in my wallet. I would definitely need to make sure I had my phone and my laptop and the chargers for those. My laptop is my lifeline. My laptop is, you know, how I earn a living. So I would definitely need to have my laptop and a change of clothes. And also in my backpack, it's only 10 miles. I could do 10 miles in a day. So that, you know, 8 hours, 10 hours, depending on the terrain. Actually, well, it would be on a road, so it wouldn't be too hard. And, you know, maybe a change of clothes or two. My Spot, I would take my Spot personal GPS device just in case I needed it and I didn't have a cell phone. That way I could call for help. I would take some extra food for both me and Sadie. I would make sure I had water for me and Sadie. Probably a sleeping bag at least, just in case I did get stuck or whatever, longer, something happened. So I think it's a good idea. This really got me thinking, Thomas said it's probably a good idea for me to have my backpack packed and ready to go at all times in case anything did happen. And I'm thinking now I would like to have my backpack packed to be able to survive a few days if I had to in the wilderness, which would mean making sure my stove is in there, my stove fuel is in there, making sure I have easy to grab water. I actually don't even think I have, I've got a couple of day hike water bottle. Oh, I have my bladder. So I do have things to carry water in for backpacking. So I would make sure that those are handy so that I could fill those up quickly if I had to. Just making sure I have all my important documentation, identification, credit cards, and things like that, and my phone and my cell phone. So that's a really great question, Thomas. So thank you so much for suggesting that. And I know you guys are wondering where Sadie is. I'm wondering where Sadie is. So let's go outside and find Sadie. Come on. Come on. Come on. Up. You good girl. All right. Your Sadie fix. Oh, your Sadie fix and my Sadie fix. What do you think, Sadie girl? She's chilling in the sun, huh? Yes. Yes. You're such a good girl. All right. And the final question is from April, and I really love this question because it hits on a lot of things that I really care about, and it also really hits on what's been going on in the news. And you know, I like my current events and my social issues. So April wants to know, as a white woman solo RVer, how would you show, let me see, it's hard to read. Can I do it this way? How would you show kindness? How would you show she did kindness or act non-threatening when black or brown people or families are camping nearby? I want to continue my normal safe measures, yet I also want to be in support to nearby people who may feel unsure about a white woman who might be a threat, i.e. calling 911 for no reason. My introverted self tends to just keep to myself, but black, indigenous, people of color have real fears and most likely experiences that could make them at least wonder if this white woman is a racist threat. Everyone has the right to be out here and feel safe, yet black, indigenous, people of color, nomads, and campers are additionally vulnerable. So I just want to make sure Sadie doesn't knock over the camera. I think that's a really good question because it's, something that I care very deeply about. I've got friends of all denominations, colors, races, sizes, religions. I mean, I've come from the Bay Area, so I have a very diverse group of friends. And because of that, and because I've heard the stories from people of color about their experiences and how the world relates to them and how they exist in this world, I am super hyper aware. Sometimes I wonder to the point of being condescending. And, I'd love to hear from the people of color out there on this. Sadie's stuck. Come here, Sadie girl. Sometimes, and I'd love to hear from the people of color in my audience on this, sometimes I feel like I'm too nice, that it comes off as condescending. Because I do want to, especially in times like now where tensions are high, and as a white person, I wonder, I don't want anyone to ever think that I'm a threat, and I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm not totally accepting of everybody who treats me well. And so April, I think I want to hear from people of color on this. So I want to read your comments and what you say. If I'm extra smiley and extra nice to you, do you feel like that's condescending? Because sometimes I do feel like I'm just being condescending, by doing that. It's just like, I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But I think that here's the thing. I think people who aren't racist are much more self-conscious about being racist than racists are. Does that make sense? Racists don't even think about it. They're like, I'm not racist, I'm a boss. So they don't ever look at their behavior. They don't question their behavior. They don't think about it because they automatically just say, I'm not a racist. Whereas non-racists, at least in my experience, are super hyper aware, am I coming off racist? Yeah. So I think that just by not being racist and by questioning this is how we learn to live together. We are a huge culture. We are a huge society worldwide, nationally. We all have to learn how to live together peaceably as possible. And that means, in my experience, understanding each other. I think that when we begin to really listen to other people and their experiences, and this is why it is so important for me to be as authentic as I am about my experience as a woman in this patriarchal society. I think that when we really let down our guard and our defenses and our own ideas, real or not, about who and what we are, and really put ourselves in other people's shoes and start to listen, I think that's when peace comes for everyone, and understanding and mutual respect. But when we have a guard up and automatically say, I'm not racist, most likely you're a racist. No, that's not true. That's not true. I'm going to say I'm not a racist, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean I'm a racist, but that doesn't mean that there isn't room for me to grow and learn and become a better sister to my fellow Americans. Does that make sense? And so I think that just by being aware and open and friendly and kind, I think that we're doing great work in bringing people together and helping other people feel okay. I don't know. This is a tough one because I'm not a person of color, so I don't know what to do to make a person of color feel safe. Is smiling and saying hi, or going over and saying hi, making them feel like, whoa, get off, go away, white girl, what's going on, you know? I think, honestly, what I do is a simple smile and a wave. I feel like in times like this, when there's a lot going on, just a knowing smile and a nod can go a long way. And I think a smile can go, a smile is everything. And I think that a smile can disarm anyone, and a smile can put anyone at ease. And that would be, I think most of the time, and I've talked to people of color on the road, I don't think people automatically feel threatened by a white person being there. I think the white person would have to do something to make them feel threatened, or maybe have certain emblems on their vehicle and certain bumper stickers on their vehicle. But I think, like most of us, I think that, and maybe because they've had to, I don't know. Again, I want to hear from people of color. I'm thinking they'd give most of us the benefit of the doubt. Also, maybe depending on the region. But again, a smile and a wave. If a person of color or a family of color is near you, a smile and a wave. You know, I think that's the best that we can do, and just that's an opening to say, you know, I'm friendly and I'm open, and I'm not threatened by you, and you don't need to be threatened by me. So thank you, April, for bringing up this question. I think it is a really good question to ask, especially now, and I hope that you found the answers to the other questions that Jane and Thomas asked also helpful. And really, I think all we can do is open our minds and our hearts to other people's experiences. It breaks my heart to see and hear people discount other people's experiences as if they aren't real. We can't discount someone else's experience because we've never lived their life. We've never been in their shoes. And, you know, people don't make stuff up just to make stuff up like this, or at least, you know, not like mass millions, thousands of people. But, you know, I don't know. We're living in crazy times, that's for sure. And I think that if we carry good intentions, that goes a long way. All right, so that's it from Sadie and me for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if so, please hit the thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. There's a lot more education, fun, excitement, adventure to come, and I'm really glad you're here. I'll see you all next time. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. Mwah. I'll see you soon. Say bye.